everybody, and welcome back to my channel. This video I'm going to show you the results of the pours that I did with the kit that I bought. This one is the first one I did, and I didn't put any extra water on the paints. I didn't put any silicone oil. Let me turn this light on first. There we go. I didn't put any silicone oil on it. It came out beautiful. There's no big cells popping out anywhere, but it's nice and smooth and very vibrant. Now this one I don't have to do anything to it but do a gloss over it. This one I used the silicone oil on it and made it few cells, but not much. And I think what happened with this one and this one also, which I did a dirty pour, the paint was slightly bit too thick, and I had mentioned that in my video. So then I went ahead and tried adding a little bit of water to the paint, and I got this, lots of cells. So if you like lots of cells, make the paint just a touch thinner, and there's just barely a difference between too thin and too thick. If you like this look, which is perfectly fine, just use it as it is. Okay, so what do you do after they have dried and all that? What I like to do is put a gloss shine on them, and let me see, I'm gonna start with this one first. Now you could use any gloss acrylic coating that you have. I happen to have this one handy, which is Liquitex Heavy Gold Gel, and that's why I'm using it, because it's there. So I like to just paint away any direction. Some people have to have it really smooth. Oh, here's a hair. They don't want to see brush marks, you know, they gotta have it really smooth. You could do that. Or if you're like me, I like brush marks, so it's going like this. There's no right or wrong way. And some of the groups, they talk about, oh, but you gotta make it so smooth, and no, you don't. You do what you like. That's what art is. Art is to enjoy, not to stress over. So if you get brush marks, so what? To me, it looks, when you have brush marks on a painting, it looks like a real painting. It doesn't look like a print. But of course, in the end, you know, if you want them nice and smooth, you can try that, but you're always going to have some kind of brush mark there. And that's that one. And I'm just going to let that sit out and dry. And that's a very thin coat. I could put a couple more coats on it later as it dries if I want it shinier or whatever. But that's pretty much all I can do with that one. Now, these other ones that have silicone in it, that's a different story. These have to be cleaned out. The silicone leaves an oily residue on top. And the more silicone you have, the more cells, the more pits in the painting you're going to have. I don't know if you could see all the little pits in here, but that's what it does. If you don't like the pits, don't use silicone. For as I'm concerned, I like the pits. It's part of the painting. Now this one has a lot of pits because the paint was thinner, and the silicone was able to distribute out more evenly, where this is just pitty and has a few cells on spots here and there. And a lot of this has a matte sheen, but if you move it around, you can see the shiny parts. That is where the silicone is. So what I do is I take some Dawn and put just a little drop like that on there. And you could do this under the sink too. But for video purposes, I'm doing it like this. and just sprayed some water on it, and then wash it off. Now it's going to soap up. Make sure I get all the oils off the top. And I use Dawn liquid because if it's good enough to, now see that's got a little spot. I could touch that up. It's not a big deal. It got stuck to something. Anyway, if it's good enough to clean birds and wildlife from oil spills, it's good enough to clean my art. I'll spray some more water on there and just try to get all the soap off. And I'm going to let that dry a little bit. And do the same thing with the other two. And it's just a little bit of, this one came out really cool. I like this one. I like this one a lot. Spray water, and I'm using distilled water, and I explained before why I use distilled water. It's not a big deal if you happen not to have distilled water. You can just use your tap water. But distilled water has no chemicals other than H2O and no minerals. Minerals and chemicals can interfere with what's going on with the paint. Now for some reason that one came out a little bit of blue. See? My paper came out a little bit blue. I think it picked up some of the paint. When I first started doing this, I was cleaning it with alcohol. Do not clean this with alcohol. Alcohol will take the oil out, but it would also take out the paint. Especially if you use a strong one like I do, which is the 90%. Yeah, you don't want that. You just want to take the oils out. Now I have let these dry for about a week before I even started to do this, because you have to let time for this to cure, and to cure doesn't exactly mean to dry. Your paint's going to dry on the surface, but there are layers, and especially the thicker the pour, the more layers of paint, thicker the layer of paint you're going to have. So all that needs to dry all the way through. And you'll have the best results. Now some people like to use the acrylic, what you call that? Like the liquid water, the hard acrylic finish. You could do that. That's super expensive. And I wouldn't do it on a soft canvas. Make sure you have a very hard canvas, very well stretched, or better yet, get a box canvas which is solid wood on the top and all the way around. And those would make the best, because the weight of the paint is going to settle here in the middle, and you're going to get a puddle on one end. Try this again. And this is pretty much all I do to prep them for a light coating. Now some people ask me, why do you sign these? I prefer not to sign the front because you don't know if you want to hang it like this, like that, like so. If I put my signature on it, then I'm committed to hanging it like this. To me, signature should be on the bottom left or the bottom right, depending, you know, your preference. And if I were to sign this, you may not want to know which way. So just sign the back. It's no biggie. Sign the back. Or if you already made up your mind you're going to hang it in your house a certain way, then sign it that way. Like, I really like this one. Now this one's nice and dry. I don't see any super shiny spots except for maybe where those holes are. But that's okay. So now I'm going to go back over these and just shine them up. Now, like I said before, you don't have to use this stuff. Before I was using polyurethane, the kind you buy at a hardware store, clear polyurethane with UV protection, and it worked fine. It's what you have, and you can experiment with different things. Some people like the triple thick, which I do have somewhere. Unfortunately, my craft room is a bit of a mess right now, and it's hard to find certain things. So, excuse me. So until I reorganize everything, I don't know where it's at. So this is what I have on hand, and this is what I'm going to use. Now, because this one has more pits, it's harder for the gloss to get in there. So I'm going to make it a little bit thicker and kind of push it in. Now this one, the colors look more pale, but that's because I only use light colors. I used yellow, pink, that light aqua color, and white. So that's why it's lighter. But I find this kit, the paint dries very vibrant, true to its color when it's wet, where most craft paints don't. They do dry lighter and more dull, and that's pretty much the purpose for shining them up. So I'm very pleased with this kit, and I might buy some more paints, but I will buy them in the large sizes, not the kit. Like that, I can pick the paints that I want to use. There's certain paints that I don't, certain colors that I don't like to use too much. One of them is pink, even though that's one of my favorite colors. When you use pink in your pours, it tends to dull down the other colors, I think. It kind of, it's just like adding too much white. That's what it is. So if you want, red is also a difficult color. You have to have a good red paint for it to come out a good red color. And this color red came out beautiful. So I strongly do recommend using that brand. Now, if you haven't seen my other videos where I showed you the kit I'm talking about, it's a kit that I bought at Hobby Lobby for $19.99, and it comes with, I believe, 8 colors and a little bottle of silicone oil. And I also bought an extra bottle of white because you're going to use white a lot. So it's just called Color Pour Pre-Mixed Pouring Paint. That's it. It doesn't have any other name to it. And let's see, how to videos. Colorpour.com. If you want to see more videos about it, go to colorpour.com. There you go. And these, the big ones are $5.99 a piece, and you can use a 40% off coupon for those. And one more. Let's see, I'm gonna scoot this over. My other videos, I get so many questions. A lot of the answers are in the video themselves. just watch the whole thing and pay attention, or I don't know the answer, because there's so many different ways to do this, and I haven't tried them all. It depends on, you know, you try different things. You have to experiment until you're happy with your results, and then stick to what works. This is what works for me. That's why I make these videos. And there is no such thing as what ratio of paint to pouring medium you mix. There's no measurement that I could tell you and you're going to do that to everything. No. It all depends on your paint, how thick your paint is, and how much pigment your paint has. So all I can tell you is you get your paint and add pouring medium a little bit at a time. Is easier to add than take away, until you get the right consistency. Which my right consistency is melted ice cream. Somebody wrote, "It's not melted ice cream. It is warm honey." Whatever. I like mine on the thin side because I liked a lot of cells. But the ones without a lot of cells look wonderful too. And that's it. My next video, I'm going to try to do a swipe. And yeah, I think they look pretty good. The swipe is a different technique, and it's going to give you different results. But this is fun, fun, fun. Alrighty, and that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.